There's something unprecedented about the way that we're approaching it this year, because I think we're realizing that people want to be heard. Black history wants to find the merging between historical truth and their impact on American history come together in the teachings to America. Black America wants to feel like they're being heard in all the different facets of the media. We're tired of just being censored to a conversation that comes once a month, and want to make sure that we're integrated into the conversation of all movies, news stories, what's going on in our homes. You know, we don't want it to just end when the 29th of February arrives. So it's exciting to see that this year the conversation is not just stemmed around, you know, oh, it's Black History Month, let's create a couple of videos and make a couple of documentaries, but it's more about what's currently going on in the Black history of America, and how can we change the narrative and help merge the two stories and make everyone feel like they're being heard. I remember the first time I saw Lean on Me with Morgan Freeman. I remember seeing this principal, because, you know, growing up, there was no such thing as a Black principal for me. And I saw this principal that really cared about his students. And I remember thinking about East Side High in New Jersey being such a tough school. And there was this man who was this surrogate father figure to so many kids. And he came and solved so many issues. I remember first time I saw Glory with Denzel Washington, and again with Morgan Freeman. And that moment where he's receiving the lashes and he's taking it. And I remember seeing his stance, the way he ripped off his clothes and just stood there courageously. And there was this one tear that fell on his cheek. And I remember saying that I want to do that if I ever portray somebody on screen. I want to tell the story like that. I remember Angela Bassett in What's Love Got to Do with It. You know, there's a moment where she's standing on stage and she lifts her arms and it's like, da-da-da. And it was just a beautiful moment in my heart, because she looked like me. Her complexion was darker. She played such a strong woman. She said no to the abuse of her husband. You know, Whoopi Goldberg in The Color Purple, when she stands up and she has that famous moment with her hand. I remember Viola Davis in the movie Traffic, when she's sitting there and she's interviewing the honor student to Michael Douglas's character. And she's sitting there, and there's this moment she just puts her hand on her chin and she goes, "What are you doing here?" And it's that moment she's saying to herself, I'm struggling, you're not struggling. What are we doing here? There's so many movies that have told different narratives that have shaped the courage that it takes to just stand up against what people tell you that you can't do. And I think these forerunners have been really impactful in my heart. And I knew from then on that I'm gonna be like them. One day I can do it too. And so I went for it. Maggie Lockwood, when I was introduced to who the character was, what she did as a profession, I remember making the conscious choice of shaping the character from the grassroots of Chicago. And I wanted to tell a story. What if a Black woman came from the South Side of Chicago, fought to become the head nurse of one of the greatest hospitals in Chicago, this university hospital that represents, lack of a better term, just a superpower in the medical field. And I started doing some research on the Great Migration that came to the Midwest from the 1916 to the 1960s. And I wanted to ask myself, what does it look like to shape a character that came from such a strong upbringing? And that's what I decided to do. The vulnerability came from a courage of seeing so many people not succeed. It came from a place where she's seen so many family members not make it. The writers' collaboration with Wolf Entertainment, we just wanted to shape something that was very specific. And I'm really excited to say that it's a balance, right? It's a balance between courage and a vulnerability. And I think that's what Maggie teeters all the time. And that's what I think is the truth of the Black reality in America. There's massive courage, but there's this vulnerability you constantly feel. And I think Maggie Lockwood is a perfect example. She's an overcomer. She's a fighter. And she cries. She cries when she's hurt. Maggie comes from my soul, right? So she's birthed out of my revelation of what I would like to create. So obviously you're gonna fight for certain things. You're gonna fight to collaborate as much as you can. You're gonna hope to be responsible for the story that you're gonna tell. So I'm just really grateful that I work with a company that is willing to give me a voice in what I say. It's a humble thing to think that I'm on a network television show that has 3 Black female characters and has 2 other minorities in there. And it's just, I do think that it's something that I'm proud of, but I don't think about it. I think it's just part of me. It's part of who I am. A social forward conversation, Wolf Entertainment. That's why I think I always wanted to work with this company and NBC. I do think that it's something that I take to heart very seriously. And I hope that it impacts the people that are at home when they do see it, that, hey, she looks like me. And they feel the same thing that I felt when I looked at the others that came before me.